Hi, good morning. It's Steve Sawyer. It's Closet Church. It is May 9th, 2019. I was talking with my friend Bear this morning. It seems like I get a lot of good ideas when he's around. And we were talking about the cars from the 70s. Next thing you know, the music of the 70s and I'm thinking the clothes of the 70s, the politics of the 70s, medicine in the 70s, religion in the 70s. So I wanted to tell you some of the things that I liked about the 70s. I thought there were some great cars that came out in the 70s. And they were all really unique. Oldsmobile had the 442, Dodge had a Charger, Ford had a Mustang, Chevy had a Camaro. There were a bunch of them. And one of the interesting things was they all really looked so different. And when I look at the cars now, to me they all kind of look the same, except their logo's different. And it's like, oh, that's a Honda, that's a Hyundai, that's a Nissan, that's a Toyota, because they might change the tail lights a little bit, but when you look at them from the side view, a lot of them, it's like, well, I don't know what that is. And back in the 70s, the cars were having this very exciting birth of creative designs, and there they were. Then you call, the music. I really liked a lot of the music from the 70s. And, hi, Kurt. Some of the music that came out, late 60s, early 70s, same thing. But it was so uniquely different. The band sounded so different to me. And there's so much that I hear now, I just don't listen to the radio anymore. Then I started thinking about my parents. They would listen to Glenn Miller, and I was thinking, boy, that's old-time stuff. And I guess, but it seemed like the rock and roll that started in the 70s, that same style of music is still very, very popular. It just doesn't make sense. The clothes, of course, we had bell bottoms, and now it seems like, oh God, when I was a kid, if you had a tear in your jeans, you patched it. And then, a few decades later, you're paying really good money to let a machine hand cut the places in your knees and other areas, and you're spending major money to look like you can't afford to buy jeans that don't have holes in it. It's amazing. Family reunions. When I was a kid, when my grandparents were alive, family reunions were just, of course they happened. They happened every year for both sides of the family. One side of the family, of course, was more fun than the other, but and then after my grandparents died, it broke down, kind of fell apart, and now the only family reunions we have are, there's one on my dad's side of the family, go down to Albany, Kentucky, and it's people that you aren't even related to very closely at all. But it's more like, the last hurrah of the Sawyers? Well, there are about 80 of us left in this area. And it's not much fun. Didn't really know them before, so it doesn't mean a lot now. Politics, I don't think that's really worth going into. Mechanization, the industrial age, I think the 70s hit some major strides. And then, so the point that I was going to bring up is because there are so many things that I liked about the 70s. I liked a lot of the music. I liked a lot of the unique car designs. And I'm wondering if that's a prejudiced view that affected my view of religion. And of course, we are what we are. If you like one thing about the 70s and you like 4 or 5 things about them, well, that means that we're affected by it. But I think religion, personal religion, between a person and God, I think we're light years ahead of where we were in the 70s. And I think that's a really good thing. And in a funny way, it's almost like science has not been able to catch up with where real spirituality is going, which is good because usually science has to debunk some of the superstitions of religion, and they have to drag it kicking and screaming into the current decade. I'm not quite sure where we are with, from the lens of eternity or beings that might be able to observe us and may have observed life on this planet for who knows how long. I'm not sure how they see our progress right now. Good morning, everybody. I'm not sure how our progress would be judged and observed, because there are things, the music just doesn't, it's not as exciting anymore. On my Spotify list, I've got like 900 songs, and there's some stuff. I mean, Sting, I've got a bunch of his stuff that goes well past the 70s and 80s. But I think if there's a chance that you think religion was better in the 70s, the traditional family, the family concept, and, there have been a lot of upheavals in organized religion, not just in Christianity, but all over the world. And, there's always a resurgence of bell bottoms, and there's going to be a resurgence of somebody trying to make a remake of the Volkswagen Beetle or something like that, or the Ford Mustang or the Corvette. There's always going to be a remake, like of the 57 T-Bird. I think we need to be really observant about our religious views and not let them get stuck in the 70s. Not let our view of traditional family ideas get stuck in the 70s. Doesn't mean you have to like some of the things that are happening, but it's not just about us. It's about what this planet has to grow into over centuries of time. And we're so short-sighted. We can only think about stuff that's within maybe a 10-year period in general. We can look at our life like I'm in my 60s, and I can go all the way back and I can project and think about things in the future. But in terms of the progress of the planet, let's not let our spiritual growth think that things were better in the 70s. Church is going to do fine, whichever thing you believe in. Think about how much, if you've ever thought about it, there's a whole lot of superstitious beliefs that have been attached to organized religion. Thank God for science to strip that stuff away. It was maddening. It was absurd. I mean, it even killed people, right? Spanish Inquisition. We have a modern version of it, I'm sure, but that was it. I was just talking to Bear this morning, and it seemed like such an important thing to make sure that we're current. We can like things. I had an Oldsmobile 442. It was a great car, but there's a romantic version of it. The seats weren't that comfortable. It didn't have air conditioning. The best thing about it is it would go too fast and it was dangerous to own. Trust me, I found out the hard way. I don't even want to tell you how fast I drove that thing. Let's keep our hearts and minds open and not feel so closed off when change comes. And sometimes change doesn't always look pretty, but change is absolutely necessary. And so that's it. When things start changing around you and it doesn't feel comfortable because it's not what you're used to, take a deep breath and back off a little bit and just look for the good. Look for the good instead of the superficial things that make it look like it's not the way it's supposed to go. We don't really know. Let's just do the best we can with the short time we've got down here, right? Been away for a few days. Love you guys. I got to go to work. Bye.